The worst part about losing David wasn't the silence. It was the sound of other people trying to fill it. My name is Natalie, and 24 hours after my husband died, my mother was already shoving a glossy brochure into my trembling hands. Peaceful Pines Retirement Community, she announced, as if she were suggesting a spa retreat rather than trying to push her 37-year-old daughter into assisted living. Mom, David just died yesterday, my voice cracked. The house still smelled like his coffee from that final morning. Exactly, dear. You shouldn't be alone in this big house. She perched on the edge of my couch, her designer pants perfectly creased. Your father and I have discussed it, and we think— Where's Dad, anyway? I interrupted, though I already knew. He was probably in David's study, checking the deed to our house, calculating its market value. Right on cue, his footsteps echoed down the hallway. Nice bones to this place, he called out. Cameron could do wonders with it. The market's hot right now. My brother, of course. They'd barely waited for David's body to cool before planning to hand my home to their precious son. I'm not selling, I said, but Mom was already talking over me about downsizing and fresh starts. The brochure crinkled in my grip as memories flooded back. David standing in this very room 3 years ago, facing down my father at Thanksgiving dinner. Sir, David had said, his voice steady despite Dad's condescension, I may not have gone to Harvard like Cameron, but I know how to take care of my wife. And I know when someone's trying to manipulate her. Mom's voice yanked me back to the present. Natalie, you're in shock. You're not thinking clearly. Let us handle everything. Like you handled my trust fund when I was 20? The words slipped out before I could stop them. David had always encouraged me to stand up to them, but I rarely did. Mom's face tightened. Ancient history, dear. We've discussed this. That money went to much better use in Cameron's hands. Look at his success now. Success built on— I started, but my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Natalie, this is Warren Gray, David's attorney. The voice was crisp, professional. We need to talk. There's something I have to show you. David planned it all. Mom's head snapped up. I put the phone on speaker, partly out of shock, partly to see her reaction. I'm sorry to call so soon after your loss, Warren continued, but David left explicit instructions, time-sensitive instructions. Can you come to my office today? David didn't have a lawyer, Mom interjected sharply. He worked at a hardware store. Warren's laugh was soft but carried an edge. Mrs. Powell, I've been David's attorney for 8 years, and I assure you, there's quite a bit about your son-in-law you didn't know. Dad appeared in the doorway, his face darkening. Now, see here. I'll be there in an hour, I cut in, surprising myself with my firmness. After I hung up, the silence was different. Charged. Mom's perfectly manicured fingers drummed against her knee. Dad's breathing had gotten heavier. Natalie, he said, using his boardroom voice, you're not thinking straight. Let me call our family lawyer. Get out! The words came easily this time. Both of you, get out of my house. Your house? Mom's laugh was brittle. Sweetheart, you can barely pay the property taxes without David's income. Be reasonable. I stood up. David's final words to me echoing in my head. Trust yourself, Nat. You're stronger than they ever let you believe. I said get out. My voice didn't shake at all now. Whatever David planned, whatever he knew, I'm going to find out without you here. They left, but not before Mom dropped her final barb. We're only trying to protect you, dear. You've always needed protecting. I watched through the window as they drove away in their luxury SUV, probably heading straight to their lawyer. For the first time since the police came to my door yesterday, my mind felt clear. David had planned something. My quiet, hard-working husband, who they dismissed as simple, who they tried to drive away with their constant belittling. He'd been moving pieces on a board I couldn't see. I grabbed my keys and coat, the retirement home brochure still crushed in my fist, As I headed for the door, I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. I didn't look like a grieving widow who needed protecting. I looked like someone about to discover exactly why her husband had kept a lawyer secret for 8 years. And somehow, I knew my parents should be terrified of what I was about to learn. Warren's office wasn't what I expected. No mahogany desk or pretentious law books, just a modest space with filing cabinets and a wall of family photos. He looked exactly like David had described him once, like a high school science teacher who accidentally became a lawyer. Coffee, he offered, gesturing to a chair. Just answers. I sat down, gripping my purse. What did you mean when you said David planned everything? Warren pulled out a thick manila envelope. Your husband was a remarkable man, Natalie. Very few people knew who he really was. I did, I said automatically. Did you know he was worth just over $4 million? The room tilted. What? Investment properties, stock portfolios, several small businesses he bought and turned around. Warren spread documents across his desk. He kept it quiet for a reason. Your family's history of financial interference concerned him. My hands shook as I picked up the papers. Property deeds, bank statements, company ownership documents, all in David's name, all carefully hidden. But how? When? Remember that inheritance from his uncle 12 years ago? The small one your parents mocked him about? I nodded. They'd called it pocket change. He invested it, wisely. Then he used those returns to invest more, buy properties, fix them up, sell them. Your husband had quite the business mind. Oh, Warren's eyes crinkled. He just didn't want certain people to know. My family, I whispered. Exactly. Everything's in a trust now. Ironclad. Your parents can't touch it. He handed me a sealed envelope. He also left you this. My hands trembled as I opened it. David's familiar handwriting filled the page. My dearest Nat, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm so sorry, but I'm not leaving you unprotected. Your parents tried to access our accounts 3 times in the past 5 years. They attempted to have you declared financially incompetent twice. Your brother forged your signature on loan documents in 2019. I've kept records of everything. The evidence is in my study, the false panel behind my desk, combination 7492. Use it if you need to. Don't let them bully you anymore. You're stronger than they know, stronger than you know. All my love. David. A sob caught in my throat. Warren quietly pushed a box of tissues toward me. My phone buzzed. Unknown number again. Mrs. Patterson, this is Tyrone Chapman. I'm a private investigator David hired. I have some files you need to see. Warren nodded at my questioning look. He's legitimate. David trusted him. What kind of files? I asked. Audio recordings, bank statements, surveillance photos. Your family's been busy, Mrs. Patterson. Very busy. A sharp knock interrupted us. Warren's secretary poked her head in. Mr. Gray, Mrs. Powell is in the lobby, demanding to see you. My mother? Of course. Tell her I'm in a meeting, Warren said firmly. Then to me, there's a back exit. Take these documents. Review them somewhere safe. And Natalie, check that panel in David's study tonight. I clutched the envelope to my chest. Why didn't he tell me any of this? He said you'd ask that. Warren smiled sadly. His exact words were, because she deserves to live without fear until she's ready to fight. I left through the back door just as I heard my mother's voice rising in the lobby. In my car, I sat for a moment, processing. David, my supposedly simple husband, had spent years building a fortress around me, gathering evidence, preparing for this moment. When I got home, I went straight to his study. The panel opened easily. Inside was a thick file labeled Cameron, Evelyn, Stewart, Evidence. My phone buzzed again. Mom. Natalie, what game are you playing? That lawyer is clearly taking advantage of your grief. Your father and I are coming over. No, I said firmly. You're not. Don't be ridiculous. We're 10 minutes away. I looked at the file in my hands, then at David's letter. Come any closer to this house, and I'll start reading what's in this file. Really reading it. And then I'll start making phone calls. The silence on the other end was deafening. You're upset, Mom finally said. We'll talk tomorrow when you're thinking clearly. She hung up. I opened the file. The first page was a bank statement showing a transfer of $180,000 from my trust fund to Cameron's account, dated 2 weeks after David and I got married. My hands stopped shaking. The grief was still there, raw and heavy, but something else was rising alongside it. Something that felt like strength. Okay, David, I whispered to the quiet room. Show me what you found. I waited until they were all there. Mom, Dad, and Cameron, before I laid out the documents on the dining room table. The same table where we'd had so many tense family dinners, where David had squeezed my hand under the tablecloth whenever Mom made one of her cutting remarks. What's all this drama about? Mom waved her hand dismissively. Really, Natalie, you're being quiet. I surprised myself with the steel in my voice. For once in your life, Mom, you're going to listen. I pulled out the first document. This is a copy of the transfer form you forged to empty my trust fund. Notice the signature? The handwriting expert David hired says it's a perfect match for yours, Mom. Dad's face reddened. Now see here. And this, I continued, laying down another paper, is proof that Cameron used my Social Security number to secure 3 different loans. Fraud, plain and simple. Cameron's usual smirk faltered. Sis, you're not thinking. I'm thinking very clearly. I spread out more documents. Bank statements, surveillance photos, recordings of phone calls where you, I pointed at Dad, tried to have me declared incompetent. Twice. Mom laughed, but it sounded hollow. Darling, we were trying to protect you. After your episode in your 20s, my episode that you triggered by drugging my anxiety medication. The words felt like fire on my tongue. Yeah, David found out about that too. The color drained from her face. Everything's frozen, I said quietly. All the accounts you set up in my name, all the loans, everything. The fraud investigation starts tomorrow. Cameron stood up so fast his chair toppled. You can't do this to me. I have investments, deals in progress. Should have thought of that before you stole my identity. My voice didn't even shake. Dad leaned forward, switching to his negotiating tone. Natalie, let's be reasonable. We can work something out. Family helps family. Like you helped me? I pulled out my phone, played a recording, Dad's voice clearly threatening a bank manager who'd questioned one of the fraudulent transfers. Mom's perfectly maintained composure cracked. You ungrateful little... She stopped herself, forced a smile. Sweetheart, you're grieving. Let us help you through this difficult time. A memory flashed. David and me on our back porch last summer, watching fireflies. They'll never stop, he'd said quietly. Not unless you make them. I don't need your help, I said. I never did. What I needed was parents who loved me more than they loved control. Cameron moved closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. Come on, sis. Share whatever David left you. We can split it. Keep things quiet. Get away from me. You always were Dad's disappointment. His mask slipped, showing the ugliness beneath. The unstable one, the one who married down. Who's going to believe you over us? The FBI, for starters. I held up my phone. You're still talking, and I'm still recording. He lunged for the phone. I stepped back, watching his eyes go wide as he realized his mistake. The dining room security camera, another of David's additions, had caught everything. Get out, I said. All of you. My lawyer will be in touch. This isn't over, Mom hissed, her society smile gone. You're right. I met her gaze. It's just beginning. They left, but not before Dad turned back. You'll regret this, Princess. Family secrets should stay in the family. After they were gone, my phone buzzed. Tyrone. Mrs. Patterson, you need to see this. I found video footage of your father meeting with someone last month. It's concerning. Send it. The video loaded. Dad in a parking garage, handing an envelope to a city official. Even without audio, the body language screamed blackmail. My hands were steady as I forwarded it to Warren. David had known for years, what they were capable of. He'd gathered evidence, built a case, created a shield to protect me when he couldn't anymore. I walked to our bedroom, opened his closet. His clothes still smelled like him. On the top shelf was the box where he kept his wedding ring when he worked with power tools. Inside, I found another note. Nat, remember our first date? You said you felt safe with me. I promised myself I'd always make that true, even after I'm gone. Love, D. I pressed the paper to my chest, but I didn't cry. Instead, I thought about that scared young woman I used to be, the one who believed she needed protecting, the one who let them convince her she was weak. She was gone now. In her place stood someone stronger, someone ready to fight back. And I had all the ammunition I needed. The video hit the local news on a Tuesday morning. By Wednesday, it was national. Dad's face splashed across screens, handing that envelope to the city official, their lips clearly forming words about permits and bribes. Your father's law firm has placed him on immediate leave, Warren told me over the phone. The DA's office is investigating. I watched Mom's carefully curated social media presence implode in real time. Her charity board positions, her country club memberships, all suspended pending investigation. Cameron's investment partners were pulling out left and right. My best friend Callie showed up with coffee and her PR expertise. They're trying to spin this, she said, scrolling through her phone. Your mom's giving interviews about a disturbed daughter and grief-induced delusions. Let her. I sipped my coffee. The evidence speaks louder. My phone rang. Grandmother Adeline, Mom's mother, who'd been quietly sidelined years ago. Natalie, we need to talk, not over the phone. Can I come over? An hour later, she sat in my kitchen, looking smaller than I remembered, but somehow fiercer. Your mother, she said, hands wrapped around her teacup, has been controlling narratives for decades. But there's something you need to know. Something worse than what David found. Worse than identity theft and fraud. They did something to you back when you were 23, during your supposed breakdown. She pulled out a manila envelope. Medical records. I've kept copies hidden for years. My hands shook as I read. Unauthorized medications, falsified psychiatric evaluations, legal documents I had no memory of signing. They had you declared temporarily incompetent, Adeline said softly, but they never fully released the conservatorship. They've maintained partial control ever since. The room spun. That's not possible, I would know. Would you? They controlled your doctors, your prescriptions, even that therapist they insisted you see, on their payroll. My phone buzzed. Callie had sent a link. Mom on a morning show, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. We just want our daughter to get help, she was saying. This vindictive behavior isn't like her. She's always been fragile. I muted it. Why are you telling me this now? Because I'm tired of their lies. Adeline's voice hardened. And because your David came to see me last year. He suspected something like this. Made me promise to tell you if anything happened to him. Another buzz. Warren, your brother's been spotted near your house. Want me to send security? No, I texted back. Let him come. As if on cue, I heard the back door handle jiggle, then a crash. Stay here, I told Adeline, grabbing my phone. I found Cameron in David's study, frantically pulling books from shelves, opening drawers. Looking for something? He spun around, eyes wild. Where are the rest of the files? I know he kept more. Step away from the desk. You don't understand. He ran his hands through his hair. Dad's deals are falling apart. My investors are calling in loans. Just give me whatever else David had. So you can destroy evidence? So I can save our family. He stepped toward me. Remember who you are, Natalie. You're a Powell. Act like it. I'm a Patterson. I held up my phone. And you're on camera. Again. His face twisted. You think you're so smart now? Mom was right. You're nothing without us. Nothing. Police are on their way, I said calmly. And this time, there's breaking and entering to add to your charges. He lunged for my phone, but I was ready. Self-defense classes, another of David's quiet suggestions, paid off. He stumbled back, clutching his nose. Sirens wailed in the distance. You're making a mistake, he snarled, blood dripping between his fingers. No, Adeline said from the doorway. She's finally fixing one. After the police left with Cameron, Adeline hugged me. Your mother will come for you next. She won't let this stand. Good. I picked up a photo frame Cameron had knocked over, David and me on our wedding day. Let her try. My phone buzzed again. Tyrone, found something interesting. That retirement home your mother recommended? She's a major stakeholder, and it's under federal investigation for elder abuse. I showed Adeline the message. Her eyes narrowed. Of course, she said. Control until the end. That's Evelyn's way. I looked around David's study at the chaos Cameron had left, but instead of feeling violated, I felt stronger. Every attack just revealed more of their corruption. You know what happens next? Adeline asked. Yes. I straightened David's nameplate on his desk. They lose everything, just like they always planned for me. Another message popped up. A reporter requesting comment on the Powell family scandal. No comment, I typed back, but keep watching. The story's not over yet. Not even close. The hospital records made me sick to my stomach. I spread them across Warren's desk while he read, his face growing darker with each page. They drugged me, I said, my voice hollow. Changed my medication without my knowledge, all to trigger what they called my episode. Warren nodded grimly, which they then used to establish the conservatorship. David suspected something like this. It's why he set up those trust funds the way he did. Triple verification, independent oversight. How did I not know? The question that had been haunting me for days. Because they were careful. He pulled out more documents. Look at these prescription records. Small changes, gradual increases. Your mother had a friend at the pharmacy. Everything looked legitimate on paper. My phone buzzed. Tyrone. Found your old therapist, Dr. Marcus. He's willing to talk. An hour later, I sat across from a nervous man in his 60s at a coffee shop. I should have said something years ago, he admitted, hands shaking around his cup. Your father, he had information about my gambling debts. Said he'd help if I played along. Played along with what? The treatment plan. The medication adjustments making you doubt yourself. He couldn't meet my eyes. Your mother orchestrated everything. Said it was for your own good. And the conservatorship? Limited scope, they said, just to protect you financially. But they used it for everything. Your job choices, your housing, even your marriage to David. I felt cold. What about my marriage? He pulled out a yellow document. They tried to block it, claimed you weren't competent to enter a legal contract. But David, he'd already figured out what they were doing. Had his own lawyers ready. My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. Back doors unlocked. Come alone. Grandmother. I found Adeline in my kitchen, clutching a stack of papers. I've been going through my old files, she said without preamble. Found these in your grandfather's study after he died. Your mother never knew I had them. They were letters, dozens of them. My mother's handwriting, spanning years. She planned everything, Adeline said quietly. From the moment you started showing independence, the concerned calls to doctors, the accidental medication mix-ups, all documented in her own words. I read through them, my hands steady despite the rage building inside me. She wrote about it all, like she was proud. Your mother always did love keeping records. Adeline's smile was bitter. She never thought anyone would dare use them against her. My phone rang. Warren. Natalie, we've got a problem. Your mother's trying to reinstate full conservatorship. Claims your recent behavior proves you're unstable. Let her try. I looked at the letters in my hands. I've got her own words to fight back with. There's more, he said. Your brother made bail, and someone accessed your home security system remotely last night. I remembered Cameron's tech skills, his smirk whenever family computers mysteriously malfunctioned. He's spying on me. Already handled, Tyrone's voice cut in. Warren had him on the line, too. Found his spyware. Been feeding him fake footage for days. But Natalie? He's not working alone. Your mother's prints are all over this. A memory surfaced. David teaching me about computer security last year. Always assume they're watching, he'd said. That's how we stay ahead. He'd known. He'd always known. What do we do? I asked Warren. We go nuclear, he said. Full disclosure. Every document, every letter, every prescription record. Show the world exactly how they've been operating. They'll fight back, Adeline warned. Hard. Good. I picked up one of my mother's letters. This one detailing how they'd manipulated my medication dosages. Let them try explaining this to their country club friends. My phone buzzed one more time. A text from Mom. Darling, this has gone far enough. Come home. Let us take care of you, like we always have. I showed it to Adeline. She snorted. Still trying to control the narrative. Not anymore. I started typing my response, then stopped. No. Let's do this in person. I want to see her face when she realizes what I have. Be careful, Warren cautioned. Your mother is about to learn what happens when the daughter she tried to break decides to fight back. I gathered the letters, the medical records, the proof of years of manipulation. David gave me the weapons. Now I'm going to use them. Adeline squeezed my hand. He'd be proud of you. I know. I looked at the wedding ring I still wore. He always said I was stronger than they knew. Time to prove him right. The sun was setting as I drove to my parents' house. David's carefully gathered evidence beside me. Years of their manipulation documented in their own words and deeds. They'd spent decades trying to make me small. I was done being small. The country club had already revoked my parents' membership by the time I arrived at their house. Mom's carefully curated social circle was unraveling thread by thread. Even their regular Sunday brunch crowd had suddenly discovered prior commitments. You've destroyed everything, Mom said as soon as I walked in. She looked smaller somehow, her designer outfit wrinkled, her perfect makeup slightly smeared. Are you happy now? Destroyed? I set my bag down carefully. Like you destroyed my trust fund, my mental health, my independence. We protected you. She paced the living room, wine glass trembling in her hand. Everything we did was to protect you. Really? I pulled out the first letter. Like when you wrote to Dr. Marcus, specifically requesting he adjust my medication to make me more compliant? The wine glass froze halfway to her lips. Or maybe you mean protection like this. I produced another document. The retirement home you picked out for me? The one under federal investigation for elder abuse? The one you own shares in? Where did you get those? Her voice cracked. David wasn't just gathering evidence. He was building a case. And grandmother kept her own records. Adeline? Mom's laugh was sharp, brittle. That interfering old... Careful, I cut in. She's testifying next week. The front door opened. Dad walked in looking haggard. His law firm's partners had voted him out yesterday. The DA wants to make a deal, he said to Mom, not even noticing me at first. Then he stopped. Natalie, what are you doing here? Showing Mom some interesting documents. Want to see the ones about your creative accounting? Or should we start with the blackmail? He moved toward me, trying to loom like he used to when I was young. You need to stop this nonsense right now. Or what? You'll have me committed? Drug me again? Force me into another treatment program? We did what was necessary, Mom interjected. You were out of control. That boy you were dating before David was perfectly normal, but he didn't fit your image, so you had my medication changed until I was too confused to maintain the relationship. We were protecting you. No, I stepped closer. You were controlling me. There's a difference. Natalie, Mom's voice softened, became cajoling. Darling, you're still grieving, still confused. Let us help you through this difficult time. Like you helped me through my 20s, by drugging me into compliance. She moved suddenly, her hand swinging toward my face. I caught her wrist before the slap could land. Not anymore, I said quietly. Dad surged forward. Don't you dare! Warren is filing charges. I cut him off. All of them. The fraud, the medical manipulation, the illegal conservatorship, everything. You wouldn't, Mom whispered. We're your parents. Parents don't drug their children into submission. Parents don't steal their children's inheritance. Parents don't. My phone buzzed. Tyrone. Just found something big. The retirement home connection goes deeper. Your mother's been running a scheme with 3 other facilities. Elder abuse, Medicare fraud, everything. I showed them the message. Mom's face went ash white. How much? I asked. How much did you make from warehousing elderly people and stealing their benefits? You have no idea what you're talking about, she snapped, but her hands were shaking. The FBI does. I headed for the door. They're very interested in all of it. Wait! Mom's composure cracked completely. Please, we can fix this. Together. Just tell them you were mistaken, that you're grieving, confused. We'll get you proper help. I already got help. From David, from grandmother, from people who actually cared about me instead of just controlling me. You ungrateful little... Goodbye, Mom. I opened the door. The FBI will be here soon. I'd lawyer up if I were you, but wait, Dad's firm dropped you both, didn't they? As I walked to my car, I heard Mom's voice rising hysterically behind me. Dad was shouting something about damage control. My phone buzzed again. A news alert. Prominent attorney and socialite wife implicated in multi-million-dollar elder care fraud. Then another message from Warren. It's done. The conservatorship is officially dissolved. You're fully free. I sat in my car for a moment, watching through the windshield as my parents' perfect world crumbled around them. Mom was still visible through the window, gesturing wildly, probably already planning how to spin this latest revelation. But her time of controlling the narrative was over. I started the engine just as police cars turned onto the street, lights flashing. In my rearview mirror, I watched federal agents approach the house. You were right, David, I whispered. I was always strong enough. I just needed to realize it. The courthouse buzzed with tension. My parents sat at the defendant's table, Mom in a carefully chosen cream suit that screamed, innocent victim, Dad in his most expensive tie. Cameron, fresh from his own plea deal, slouched in the gallery. The state calls Natalie Patterson, the prosecutor announced. I walked to the witness stand, feeling their eyes on me. Mom's gaze was razor sharp, calculating, still trying to control even now. Mrs. Patterson, the prosecutor began, please tell the court about the events following your 23rd birthday. I leaned toward the microphone. That's when the manipulation began, or at least, that's when I started noticing it. Could you be more specific? My medication would make me confused, dizzy. I'd lose track of time, forget conversations. When I questioned it, they'd tell me I was being paranoid. I met Mom's eyes. They had a plan, you see, make me doubt myself, make me dependent. And the conservatorship? They waited until I was at my most vulnerable, changed my prescriptions, isolated me from friends, then used my episode to convince a judge I couldn't manage my own affairs. The prosecutor held up a document. Is this the letter your mother wrote to Dr. Marcus, requesting specific medication changes? Yes. And these bank records showing the transfer of your trust fund? Yes. Mom's lawyer stood. Objection. This is clearly a daughter's vindictive response to reasonable parental concern. Overruled, the judge cut in. Continue. I did. I told them everything. The drugs, the theft, the years of careful manipulation. My voice never wavered. Grief doesn't make you weak, I said, looking directly at the jury. It exposes everyone else's strength, or lack of it. The prosecutor nodded. And the retirement home scheme? My mother owned shares in facilities known for elder abuse. They target vulnerable seniors, drain their accounts, falsify Medicare claims. David found the connection. That's why they hated him so much. He saw through everything. Mom's lawyer tried again. Your Honor, this witness is clearly about to hear this, the prosecutor interrupted, holding up a new document. Your Honor, we've just received evidence of a falsified will, prepared by the defendants before Mr. Patterson's death was even announced. The courtroom erupted. Mom's perfect mask cracked. Dad's face went purple. They planned to contest David's real will, I continued. Had a fake one ready, but David knew. He'd already made sure everything was ironclad. Warren stepped forward then, presenting the final evidence. Years of documented fraud, medical manipulation, financial theft. Every move they'd made, every scheme they'd planned, all exposed. The jury took less than 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. As the bailiff led them away, Mom turned to me. Her eyes weren't calculating anymore. They burned with pure hatred. Then, unexpectedly, she smiled. A small, secret smile that made my blood run cold. You think this is over? She whispered. You think you've won? Take her away, the judge ordered. I watched them leave, Mom's smile lingering like a threat. Cameron slipped out during the chaos, probably running from his own legal troubles. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Mrs. Patterson, how do you feel about the verdict? What message do you have for other victims of family abuse? Will you take control of your parents' assets? I held up a hand. The only message that matters is this. Truth wins. Eventually, always, truth wins. My phone buzzed. Warren. There's one more thing you need to see. In his office, he handed me a final envelope. David left this for after the trial. Inside was a deed. My hands shook as I read it. He bought that building your mother always bragged about, Warren explained. The one she claimed would be her legacy. It's yours now. What am I supposed to do with it? There's a letter. I opened it, recognizing David's handwriting one last time. Nat, remember when you told me about helping that woman at the shelter? How alive it made you feel. Here's your chance to help more. Turn this into something good. Something that would make your mother furious. All my love, David. I looked up at Warren. He wanted me to turn it into a shelter? For abuse victims. Legal aid center, too. Everything set up. Funding, permits, staff. Just needs your go-ahead. Through the window, I could see Mom being led to a police car, still wearing that unsettling smile. She looked up directly at me and mouthed something I couldn't make out. But I wasn't afraid anymore. Do it, I told Warren. Start the renovations tomorrow. My phone buzzed one last time. Unknown number. A text. Proud of you, Mrs. P. But stay alert. Your mother's got one last card to play. Tyrone. I put the phone away. Whatever was coming, I was ready. David had taught me how to fight. Now I knew how to win. The shelter's opening day brought sunshine and a steady stream of women seeking help. I stood in what used to be my mother's prized marble lobby, now transformed into a warm welcome center, watching hope replace fear on face after face. Mrs. Patterson, a young intern rushed up. There's a package for you. No return address. The plain brown envelope felt heavy in my hands. Inside was a single photograph, Mom on a beach somewhere, drink in hand, smiling at the camera. A note fell out. You taught me to fight dirty. Let's see if you can survive clean. Love, Mom. Everything okay? Callie appeared at my shoulder. She's somewhere tropical, I said, showing her the photo. Probably used money we haven't traced yet. Want me to call Tyrone? No. I tucked the photo away. Let her play her games. Grandmother Adeline's voice carried from the counseling room where she now volunteered. She was talking to a woman who reminded me of myself 3 months ago. Scared, uncertain, but ready to fight. My phone buzzed. Warren, your brother's been spotted in Toronto. Want me to alert authorities? Not yet, I texted back. He's running scared. Let him. The front desk phone rang. The intern answered, then went pale. Mrs. Patterson? It's your mother. I took the receiver. Hello, Mom. Such a waste of prime real estate. Her voice dripped disdain. Helping those people? Really, darling? Those people are exactly who need helping. From people like you. She laughed softly. You think you've won? Changed? You're still my daughter. Still a Powell deep down. This little revenge fantasy of yours will fade. This isn't revenge, Mom. It's justice. There's a difference. We'll see. Her tone shifted, became almost gentle. I taught you everything you know about power, Natalie. About control. You're more like me than you admit. No. I watched another woman enter the shelter, clutching her children's hands. I'm like David, and that's why I'll win. David's dead, darling. But what he built isn't. Neither is what he taught me. Silence stretched between us. Then, check your email in an hour. Consider it a mother's final lesson. She hung up. I immediately called Warren. Already on it, he said before I could speak. Tracking the call. Monitoring your accounts. Whatever she's planning, we'll catch it. An hour passed. My email pinged. It was a video. Mom sitting in some luxurious room, looking perfectly composed. Darling, she said to the camera, you think you're so clever, but I've been planning this since before you were born. Everything, the conservatorship, the medications, all of it was to make you strong enough to take over, to be ruthless enough to win. And look at you now, using everything I taught you. I'm so proud. The video ended. Another email arrived. Bank statements showing millions in offshore accounts. All in my name. She's trying to implicate you, Warren said when I forwarded everything. Make it look like you were part of her schemes all along. No, I realized. She's trying to make me like her, still trying to control the narrative. I walked to the shelter's garden, the one David had designed before he died. His last gift, a place of peace in the middle of chaos. My phone buzzed again. Not Mom this time. A message from one of our first shelter residents. Got my own place today. My kids are safe. Thank you for showing me strength isn't about control. I smiled, took a picture of the garden, and sent it to Mom's number. You taught me about power. David taught me about strength. Guess which one's helping people heal? Goodbye, Mom. Then I blocked her number. Inside, Adeline was showing a new arrival around. My granddaughter built this place, she was saying, turned pain into purpose. Mrs. Patterson, the intern again, the reporters are here for the opening ceremony. I straightened my jacket. Mom was out there somewhere plotting her next move. Cameron was hiding in Canada. Dad was serving his sentence. But here, in this building they once used to showcase their power, women were finding their strength. Ready? Callie asked, holding the doors open. Actually, yes. I touched my wedding ring, thinking of David's quiet strength, his patient planning, his absolute faith in me. The cameras flashed as I stepped up to the podium. Behind me, the shelter's new sign caught the sunlight. The David Patterson Center for Healing and Hope. Mom's final lesson had failed. She taught me about revenge, but David taught me about legacy, and his was the only lesson that mattered.